We've played well against the teams we're going to have to play against. Some of them we haven't played well. Right now it's about who's playing the best basketball this week. I feel like some of our guys are starting to come around and play their best basketball. I think Quinley's shooting 45% from three over the last 5 games. He looked great in practice today. He won the SEC tournament MVP last year. He's coming around right at the right time, in my opinion. Obviously Shaq struggled to shoot the ball. I don't think he's going to struggle again. Usually if he's got a bad game, he bounces back great in the next game. So I feel pretty confident about him. Our turnovers have been an issue. We've got to get those fixed. That's the biggest problem right now is our turnovers, and then obviously our defense we got to continue to work on. But we've definitely got a team capable of running off 4 in a row. We just saw it on the women's side with, I believe Kentucky was a 7 seed, won 4 in a row, and had a big upset and won the tournament. So and there's been teams in the past that have won 4 in a row on the men's side, and I think Auburn did it the year before I got here. So it's definitely doable. We were playing better basketball. So it was a disappointing week last week, but thought our guys played a lot harder on Saturday. Our turnovers ended up killing us, and need to make a few more shots and get a couple stops there late. But I was pretty pleased with the effort overall.
Thank you, Coach. We'll go ahead and start with questions. Charlie Potter.
Yeah, Coach, just quickly, I was wondering if you had a with him.
Charlie, can you repeat that? You broke up a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. I was just wondering if you had an update on Jason and how your meeting went with him.
I met with him yesterday. It was his birthday, which unfortunate. Everything happened around his birthday weekend, but we had a good meeting. He's back in practice. I thought he practiced really hard today. He'll be making a trip to Tampa with us, provided tomorrow's practice goes well, and then we get out of here tomorrow after practice. So he's back in. I thought he was really good today.
Nick Kelly.
Yeah, JQ mentioned that poise is such a key element of you guys succeeding in the SEC tournament last year. How can you guys kind of recapture that going to the tournament this year?
I didn't quite catch it. What did JQ say? What?
He mentioned poise, like how key that was in your guys' success. I mean, how can you guys recapture that?
Yeah, it's a good question because I thought, we did show a lot of poise. We're down 15 in the second half, Tennessee, and had to poise to hang in there, get some stops, score some buckets, got out of the semifinal, ended up in a tight game against LSU, kept it together. Herb scored the big bucket. We got to stop late. So kind of to recapture, I think you got to pay attention to a bunch of little details and just trust the process that, if we continue to get stops, and again, our defense has to get better. It's a lot easier to be poised on offense when you can trust your defense like we were able to last year, because you don't put nearly as much stress on your offense. You just execute, get a good shot, and know that you're going to get a stop on the other end. So I think the better our defense would get, the more confidence we have in it, the more we're able to show a little poise on the other end of the floor, to be honest with you.
Michael Cascarande.
I know you follow the analytics closely. In terms of your turnovers, how do they break down? What is the consistent thing that you see within the turnovers with the live ball, passing? How's it work?
It's been inconsistent is what it's been. It's, last game we had 16 steals, or, LSU had 16 steals, so there's 16 live ball turnovers. Some other games, charges, travels, step out of bounds, been more of the dead ball ones, which those are a lot easier to defend. Like they scored 23 points off our 21 turnovers. That's over a fourth of their points. It's our offense isn't giving our defense a chance. There's a lot of synergy in basketball between your offense and your defense. You get a good offensive possession, even if you miss a shot's up on the rim, and your floor's balanced, and you get your transition D set. That means your defense is now set, which makes it a lot easier. You get a stop. You're playing downhill with pace in transition on offense, which we're better doing. It's easier to score, and there's kind of start a whole circular deal going. Well, when you're turning the ball over and they're scoring layups, then their defense is set again, and it makes it harder on your offense, makes it impossible on your defense. We've had an issue. So, we've got to clean them up. I mean, we can't have guys that are not primary ball handlers turning the ball over as much as they are. We can't have our primary ball handlers turning it over as much as they are either. A team as guard-oriented and as skilled as we are should be getting more like 12 turnovers, not double that, which we've been close to at times here. So that's, and we've looked at everything. We looked at all of them. There's not a ton of consistency, to be honest with you. A lot of them are, I'll say this, a lot of them we're not getting the ball out of our hands quick enough on some reads. Teams are collapsing. LSU's a heavy collapse team. We showed multiple clips to our guys where there's 5 guys in the paint, and they're still trying to drive it through, single gaps and getting stripped. Like, we got to get it out of our hands a little earlier, get it moving. Some of them I don't have an answer for. When we just threw the ball to the other team without being aggressive at all, it's just, if you're a high major Division I basketball player, you're not supposed to be doing that. So some of them we have to get our guys playing more aggressive, and then we got to get them to be eager passers, get the ball out of their hands a little quicker.
Katie Wyndham.
Coach, you said in your opening that it's not easy to win these tournaments, but as a head coach, you've had a lot of success in conference tournaments. What are kind of some of the qualities that a team has to have to make a run over these couple of days? And what have you seen from your team this year that shows that you think they're capable of doing that?
Yeah, we've only had one conference tournament since I've been here. We won it obviously last year. I think we won 3 out of 4 at Buffalo. So I was talking about this with somebody here over the weekend, and I think the biggest thing is, can you get your guys to forget about the past, whether it was good or bad year, and just really worry about today, and then pump them up with as much confidence as they can. Now, when you have great practices like we did today, it's a lot easier to get the confidence rolling. I thought Quinterly, Shackelford, Keon Ellis, Jawan, Noah, Rojas, I really thought they practiced hard. They practiced great. You can pump them up with a lot of confidence going into that. And then you make the corrections you need to make, but it's not the time to be, really ripping on, getting out. No, like, we make a mistake, all right, let's move on. We're not worrying about the past here. And then just on to the next game, on to the next game, on to the next game. So the more we can prepare right now for our first opponent, and again, we don't know who it is until Wednesday night, but we've played Vanderbilt and Georgia both. The more preparation we can do on those two to be ready for that game, you got to have a good first game. And at this point, it's win in advance, win in advance, win in advance. And, I still think if we can be defensive oriented and take care of the ball on offense, our offense will take care of itself. I know we haven't shot it great at times during the year, but we've gotten enough quality shots. I think our offense is 12th in the country right now. That's with all the turnovers we've had. I mean, if we take care of the ball, we'd probably be top 5 in the country. So defense, take care of the ball on offense, and I think we'll be all right.
Okay, final question will be from Jerry Tipton.
Yeah, Nate, I hope I can ask too, but you mentioned the Kentucky women and what they did in the women's tournament. I'm wondering if that's something that you use as an example for your guys. We can do it, that sort of thing.
I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not sure how much our guys follow, women's basketball outside of the Alabama women's team. I'm not sure. So I may reference it, obviously it's current, just happened this past week. We've talked a little bit about the Auburn team the year before we got here. They were, I think, 5-6, went on a run at the end. Finished on a run, won 4 in the SEC tournament to win that, and then won 4 more in a row in the NCAA tournament to go to a Final Four. So we've referenced that team. I mean, there's plenty of teams that have gone on runs. You look at the UConn team from a few years back when Kevin Ollie was coaching them, and they won. I think they had to win 5 in a row in their conference tournament to win it, and then won a bunch. I think 6 in a row to win the NCAA tournament. So there's teams to reference that you can point to, that obviously the Kentucky women's team may be one of those that we reference here to our guys.
And I wondered,
Go ahead.
too, if I can, Oscar Shibwe scoring and rebounding, obviously he impacts, but he's also leading the team in steals. And I wonder that usually that's a guard or a perimeter player. What, if anything, does it say to you when a big guy is leading the team in steals?
Tells you how active he is on defense. Tells you how quick his hands are, which I think goes with his rebounding and block shots. He's a very quick twitch athlete. He's off the ground quick, which helps his second jumping on the rebounding, but I think it also helps, he's got long arms with quick hands, and he can get his hands on passes in there. But I think most of all, it just shows you where, he wants to win. Like their team's winning. We had to vote for all SEC players. I mean, you look to the teams that are winning and who's impacting winning. Well, he got my vote for all SEC team, all defensive team. Like, there's plenty of votes he got from me on wherever I could vote for him, because he impacts winning in a big way for that Kentucky team. He does all, when we talk about blue collar, like that's the definition of blue collar. I mean, he's arguably the best rebounder in the history of modern college basketball. Just getting steals, scoring the ball on tough physical plays that impact the game. I mean, he's a really good player, and I think it shows up in a lot of different ways, and it shows where his focus is. His focus is on doing whatever he can to win basketball games, and he's helped them turn that thing around very much so from last year when, they seemed like they had a lot of players that weren't interested in making winning plays and doing winning things, and he is doing all that stuff for them, and in turn their team is making all those winning plays and winning a lot of games this year.
Talking a little trash on the field? Yeah, we get it. Trashing the state with litter? That's terrible. Keep it clean. Keep Alabama beautiful.